Hello, welcome to Actual Play Court of Blades, and I'm going to add a new sound effect just for Court of Blades, which is swish, 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 instead of pew, 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 pew. It's the sound of blades swishing through the air, or cling, 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 maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I wanted a new sound effect. It wasn't pew, pew, pew for this game. Hey, I'm Sean Nittner. I am the host of this channel tonight. I use he, him pronouns. You can find me everywhere at my name. And I am playing Cora the Bravo. She got a little beat up last session. I'm excited to see what recovery looks like. As was mentioned, recovery by candlelight. And I have a secret agenda tonight. I have a secret line from a real story, of a line from a real story that I'm going to try and implement in game. And if I do, I will let everybody know it's my win condition. We'll see if we can squeeze it into the game. It'll be a good one. Kristen and I are on this together. We have a goal. So yeah, I'm super excited to play Court of Blades again and see what's going on with the houses. How about you, Navi?
Hi guys, I'm Navi. I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing the key tonight. I am one of the co-writers of this game, so you know, if you got any complaints, send them this way. Let's see.
Or compliments, or praise.
I like compliments. Compliments are good. I don't know what kind of trouble I'm gonna get into today. It's gonna be off the cuff, so we'll see what Rumor does today. How about you, Jamie?
Yeah, so I'm Jamie. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm playing Malika the Chalons, who uses she, they pronouns. Malika is the neck, so I'm really excited to play that. Deeply inspired by Morrigan from the Dragon Age series. I spend way too much of my time playing Dragon Age. I just finished my, I think it's 4th playthrough of Dragon Age Inquisition. So yeah, I love that game too much. All the games. And so I also have a secret agenda, which involves a body part. That's all I'm gonna leave as. It's not as bad as it sounds. But yeah, so what about you? I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna connect it to the magic of the world somehow. I promise. So, Kristen, how about you?
That was amazing. Hi, I'm Kristen. I use she, her pronouns. Tonight I'll be playing Lenore, aka Mistress Gray. She is the hawk and has a mercy background. Lenore uses she, her pronouns as well. I also have a secret agenda. As Sean mentioned, we are kind of in cahoots with the secret agenda. I'm very excited. Our pregame chat got a little silly, so I think this is going to be an excellent session. How about you, Drake?
Hey everybody, I'm Drake. I'm going to be GMing tonight. I use he, him pronouns, but I play the world, so I'm going to use all the pronouns. And I actually also have a secret agenda, but it being secret, like it's basically just the GM's agenda from Court of Blades, where I'm going to fill the world with treachery and make sure that everybody has a time that they will never forget. So I'm really excited to bring a little bit of that Orlane feel into Illyrian tonight. I'm also really excited to see what you guys are going to be doing for your downtime, because when we left off last time, we were just at the end where we had dealt with the thing in the well, which turned out to be the arson leopard, and run from just a hopeless amount of seabirds. There were the first steps toward finding out who sent those seabirds, but as you know, we kind of faded out last time. We were heading back to the house to, render a report and let everybody know that it was handled, and maybe get Giovanni Batiste to run some top cover for us. But I think that we're going to start out tonight talking about downtime. You guys, after you finish your errands, you're afforded a little bit of liberty and leisure to recuperate, nurse your wounds, advance any projects that you personally or as a coterie have interest in. I just have to ask, who wants to go first? Okay.
Oh, Navi's got a hand raised. Nice.
Yeah, she sure does. Okay. All right, Rumor. Why don't you tell me what you're going to be doing for downtime?
Okay, I think the first thing that I want to do is like start some shit. So I want to.
Sounds like a good place to start.
Good choice, Cotton. Let's see if it's going to play out for her.
I want to get into the uncover a plot mechanic. So I think when the scene opens, Rumor is sort of hanging out in the like the kind of it's like a parlor, but it's where mostly people who serve the house kind of hang out. You're not a lot of nobles come through, and she's hanging out with the house guard, the proper house guard, the one that works, actually on the grounds, and she's fleecing them in a card game for like all of their berries, because I think that in exchange for helping the arbor, they gave us like the first berries of the season, and she's trying to roll everybody for their berries.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we definitely earned some favor with the arbor just because, when word gets around that when things got kind of spooky and, there was an arson leopard unleashed, those people that, totally didn't get burned by a cigarillo probably had some choice words to say about the saviors of the arbor, right? Not all of them were complimentary, but some of them were, I'm sure. So is that what we're saying? Like a shipment of the first berries of the season, first spring berries come in, and it's kind of being passed around in, what do you think, like the ward room or like a barracks area? That's super cool. Okay, so whose night are you ruining here?
So I
You
want
make it
to.
sound like such a bad thing.
They wanted berries too, guys. Like, no, I think that this is a fun time, but somebody's probably getting the short end of the stick here. So who are we fleecing? You used the word fleecing. Who are we fleecing?
No, I said I was going to ruin some. Yeah, no. Did I say fleece? I might fleece someone. I'll probably fleece someone. But no, I think that what she's doing is as she's playing, she's eavesdropping and she's being the key, right? We're doing key stuff. So she's like trying to figure out like what everybody's talking about in the house, trying to uncover like what is the house kind of like doing in that they haven't told us about, because she's a scrabbler. She wants to get to the top, right? So like, okay, you gave us some stuff to do, but what did you not trust us with yet? I want to know about that stuff. So I think that that's what she's getting into, and I want to bring in my contact within the house for this.
Nice. Who's your contact, Abby?
My contact, he was trying to say that, but he was in the wrong frame, so it wasn't letting him key out.
Zoom.
So my contact within the house is going to be the captain of the guard. I think the captain of the house guard is like her kind of friend, because she's kind of the baby of the group. And I think it's more of like, he probably doesn't go out of his way to like let it be known that they're friends. It's more of that, like, he's really kind of stone cold character, but he keeps an eye on her anyway. So I think there's like a little bit of a sibling feel, but like not when anybody's looking. So she's bothering him in front of his entire group for information while like eavesdropping on everyone. And I think that's what I want to bring in.
Okay, we're gonna tighten that chain as it goes along. But what's this guy's name? Anybody have a good name for the captain of the guard?
His name is Locke.
Locke. Okay, Locke is a good name. I like Locke. All right, so Locke is passing berries back and forth as we're playing. What do we call the game where it's not just playing the game but also drinking? Tonk. That's right. Yes. Yeah. So you guys are playing Tonk, and everybody knows that you're uncommonly good at Tonk. Some of us better than others. So I think that you guys are probably 6 drinks in at this point, and so I think that this might be a roll just to see what Locke knows. I'm willing to give you a fortune roll here with Locke's tier, or maybe he's hiding something and you're going to find a way to drag it out of him. So what do you think here?
It's like a fortune roll. Are you going to roll it?
Oh, you're going to roll it. It's a fortune roll.
Okay. We're all tier 2, right? We're all operating under that particular title.
Yeah. Although, are you doing a downtime action right now? Is this sort of just gather information that might lead you up to it? Because I think this
is uncovering a plot. This is one of the things that we can actually undertake to get the objectives of the other houses kind of into our hands.
Nice.
So this is more than just to gather information. This is maybe going to reveal these clocks that we rolled up during the GM turn and give us the opportunity to get ahead of them.
Cool. Then I would say I think you get +1D for working with a contact.
Ooh, Ooh, yeah. Okay, so that's a 3-die fortune roll. Okay.
Well spotted.
Got a 6.
Nice. Uncovering the plot.
Beautiful. Okay, so I think that over the course of the game, Locke is grousing, as most guards and soldiers tend to do. Like when a happy soldier is one who's kind of complaining. So I think the overall feel of the conversation is him kind of grumbling and you sort of just putting stuff together. What you end up getting is that that he's had to dispatch some people to go keep an eye on the twist, on the areas of the city that are a little less savory. Kind of running counterintelligence with some Corvetto actors in the twist. Obviously, that probably leads to some questions. I'm going to tell you that the Corvetto are working on an 8-part slight clock where they are trying to arrange a strategically important marriage with the Brizzolato crime family.
Say that again. They're trying to arrange a what marriage with
They're
who?
trying to arrange a strategic marriage into the Brizzolato crime family.
Dirty deeds.
Oh no. Like that's like rumors like triggered right now. Like she hates the Brizzolatos.
Tell us about the Brizzolato. What's their story? Are they like publicly known as like, are they like public criminals, or do they have like a front that like, you know, so they can still sort of
Yeah, they
have
have
a-
a front for sure. They're kind of like low key, but like any of the minor gang bosses, any of the other kappas, they all kind of nobody, you can't prove it, but they all kind of answer to the Brizzolatos ultimately. So any gang that operates with an Illyrian, you can bet the Brizzolatos have like a hand in it somehow. So that's like one of her, because she came from that gang background, so she's like, that's a trigger word for her. She wants, as soon as they come up, she's like, oh, how can I ruin this?
Exactly. So that's what you get for your uncovering of a plot. We know that right now this is the first season that they're undertaking this task. They're trying to ingratiate themselves with the Brizzolato, maybe take some of those underworld contacts as their own, and maneuver to expand influence in the city that way. What else do you want to do? What else does this? Does that feel like a good use of your?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
No, that was really good because now I know what's going on over there. So I'll totally not push everyone towards that later. So for my second, I don't think I got hurt. Let me check. Did I get hurt last time? Didn't. Look how unscathed and like creamy I am. So okay, I'm not hurt.
what an adjective there. Look how creamy Rumor is.
Look, it's a weird city. It's getting real sexy already.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Let's get rid of some stress then. Malika, do you want to come with me? I'm going to the orphanage.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. I was thinking of doing that too, since we have the same thing going on. Can we both roll for to de-stress at the same time?
Yeah, absolutely. That
Nice.
I mean, you're both taking a downtime action. But
Exactly.
Yeah, but you can combine narrative.
Yeah. Nice. I think that makes a lot of sense for Malika to join Rumor as we go to the orphanage.
So what does Malika do down there?
Yeah, I think when Malika shows up, there is, I think Malika's insisted that they don't do anything different, the people who work there, but Malika is still the consort of Lady Bastien, so it's still something of a deal. But Malika is going to, I think, help out, check in how administration is going, if there's anything the orphanage needs before they go check in on Arturo, this particular orphan that they're interested in.
Tell me a little bit about Arturo. Just like 3 quick adjectives. Like if you had to pick Arturo out of a lineup of these ragamuffins down in the twist, how would you pick them out?
I think I'm bad with just 3 adjectives, but
It's okay. More is fine. I just need at least three.
Yeah. I think the thing about Arturo is he's taller than the other children, but he talks like as if he's much younger. And so I think other people think he's slow, but that's not really the case. He just speaks very differently, and he's a very kind-hearted boy, and it's very easy to think that he's simple when that's really not the case at all.
Still waters run deep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to have you both roll your indulgence, and we'll see how many stress we recover, and we'll see what the fiction looks like based on that.
And there's you both know it.
Yep, there is an indulgence tab, a little button over your stress and trauma area.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I lost all these tabs. I don't know how I have so many. Okay, where do. I'm almost there.
Yeah,
There it is.
you're like defying the odds here.
It's okay. We used all of our 6s last time. That's what it is.
Exactly.
I only rolled a 1, so I just removed the 1.
Oh no, and I only had 4 stress, so like.
So you go over, yeah.
I really want to roll 3. That's kind of pushing your luck. So I'm going in stressed, guys.
Starting an errand with like nearly loaded up on stress. Good way to do it.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's more chance that we might see something a little bit more dramatic here, and drama is the name of the game after all. Okay, so
Jamie, I didn't see a roll come through on roll 20. Is my roll 20 being slow?
Oh, I don't see it.
No.
I don't see it either.
Oh no. So, that was rumors.
I see.
Okay.
I see rumors.
Weird.
Yeah, let's see others.
Oh, I clicked on indulge. Okay, I'm gonna click again.
if we get
It
like
might have
8,
like popped up on like the show us bonus dice thing and disappeared.
There we go. 3.
There it is.
okay.
Oh, that's better. That's
I
better.
needed that.
No, you get drama now.
Exactly. So now we have a little bit of drama. Okay. So I know that that Malika is going to kind of peel off and talk to Arturo. We'll decide what that looks like in just a second. But what is Rumor doing at the orphanage? Like, are you serving in the soup line? Are you cleaning up? Are you playing with children? Like, what does this look like?
Oh no, she's like out back teaching these little shits how to properly like tease a purse. Like she's like, no, this is how you you don't steal like that. That's how you lose a hand. So she's out there teaching them how to actually steal without getting caught.
Nice.
Okay. So I think what this ends up looking like is like, as you're out there teaching them how to tease a pocket, how to charm a purse. Like is it the Graces who run this place? Okay, so one of the sisters comes over and like immediately like is giving you like the look, and it's not the first time you've ever gotten it, but they're happy to have the help, but they every time know that you have to be supervised. So you gotta have like this chaperone who's following you around, and every time you start getting toward that like that edge where it's not just like you're here and you're visiting the children and you're helping out and everything, where it's clear that you're being a bad influence, like the sister takes you aside and is like, okay, now we've talked about this. You cannot teach the children how to be immoral and dissolute, and you need to okay, you're going to be asked to leave if you continue doing this. And so like this happens a couple of times throughout the day. So it's good. You're there, you're with the children, and you have a little bit of like, okay, everything is not terrible, but it's definitely not like the cut and loose, fancy free sort of like, now you have your own like Fagin gang of pickpockets. But yeah, exactly. Cause that feels more like a long-term project. Malika, what is Arturo telling you today?
Yeah, I think what happened was Arturo had been complaining of headaches and not feeling well, and I know that means that the old god is stirring within him. And so I decided to help him rest instead. And as I told him, I could tell, like, as I would tell him the old fairy tale, which is secretly about the witches of my line, Arturo would just very quietly say the words before I would, and I know
That's
that the
cool.
two of us are like connecting in some way.
Yeah, so this is almost like the right before nap time, right? You're kind of sitting him down, and you know he's on his cot, and like his eyes are closed, like he drifts off rather quickly. But even as you are finishing the lines of this fairy tale, a voice, which is not the kind of sweet and guileless voice of Arturo, is whispering as well. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
And I think Malika will like just stroke his face and say, I'll figure out a way. I'll find a way, no matter what. And I think it's left to, we're not sure what Malika is promising exactly.
Absolutely.
Oh,
But I know for a fact that
ominous.
I know for a fact that at the end of the day, you feel as though you are just a little bit more centered, a little bit more grounded, and with a little bit more direction.
I
That's
know
super
exactly
cool.
what I have to do. Yes.
Yeah, awesome. All right,
Very
we've got
cool.
another action for Malika. So what else does she do with her downtime?
Oh, I'm going to track down that bastard. I have a clock. So it's called Tracking Down the Bastard.
Tracking
That's
Down
what
the
I named the
Bastard.
clock.
Drive down that bastard.
So I'm going to find out who sent those seagulls, who sent that that monster, that like hurt my friends. I'm not going to admit Core is my friend, but you know,
Yeah.
that
Jemmy, is Malika open to doing it with like having Core as part of this? Because like I think the moment we're like we need to find it out, of course, like yeah we do, and it's totally in that like yeah, and whoever finds out the best is the best among like it's not like I think our means would be very different, but Core would be super interested in like coming back and being like, this is what I found, what'd you find? And like, you know, challenging you and seeing who could uncover this.
I can intrigue harder.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
yes, exactly. I love that idea.
Sounds good.
So awesome.
How
So
are you gonna do it? What's your like approach to this? Thing?
Yeah, I think
So
Malika. Mhm.
you set your familiar spirit out to do some tracking. Is that still the major game plan, or do you have something that you're doing while the familiar is trying to find it in the avenue of the twist?
Yeah. I think my familiar is still out there. I think it makes sense that they'd still be busy for now at the very least. But I think what happens is it turns out Malika brought home one of those horrid, weird looking seagulls, and they had spent like the time like carefully like the very shamanic way of taking apart. I'm not going to get into detail. You know.
Thank you.
But like basically they like lay out the animal in a way to like perform a ritual to try to. It's kind of like when like those people who would read entrails. I think that's what's going on.
The divination by means of the animal.
Yeah. But we're not going into detail. I'm just going to roll for it. But I feel like it's channel. Oh, but I want to check in. Is everyone okay with that? I'm happy to change the means of the ritual if you don't want to involve a seagull. Okay, just checking.
I didn't see any X's.
Just wanted to make sure.
X card is always on the table. We can absolutely reframe at any point, and if anything gets too squicky or icky, but it sounds like everybody's okay with it. So let's roll.
Cool. And it's just a pure fortune roll, right?
I could see channel because you are using your expertise as a practitioner, as a knack here. I could also see this purely as what kind of information they left behind, right? So I could see the fortune roll, I could see channel, I could also see study. But what feels right for Malika here?
Yeah, I feel like ooh, yeah. Yeah, I feel like study actually makes sense. I want to lean into like this is something that I learned from my mother. And so it doesn't necessarily like it doesn't hit the weave too much. Like it won't disrupt things too much because I don't want to have it trace back to me basically.
Exactly. Yeah. Right now this is purely passive. It's what have you left me to go on?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna roll. Ooh, highest is a 5.
That's a good
Let's
one.
see how you do, Lady Core.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah. Oh,
that's
yeah.
2 ticks on the clock there.
But you
so.
know, Malika just has a very smug face of like, as as they go about it, waiting to see. And we'll cut back to Lady Core, I think.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to me, Core. How does Core find the threads? How does
So I think Cora, if they were in her purview, would totally be like studying and trying to understand as well. But I don't think, as she isn't an experienced channeler, I don't think that like reading these. But this isn't the kind of thing she knows how to study. She's very good at studying, but this is just like not in her in her purview. So she is going to go out and talk on the town a bit and try and get one of her contacts to see if they know of any rogue knacks that might have had a falling out with other houses or whatnot. And the contact that she's going to reach out to is none other than Cipriana, a noble who doesn't like her, but is a contact on my sheet. So I'm going to take it anyway. And I can see what kind of trouble I can get into with Cipriana.
Yeah, that's super bold.
Yeah, exactly. Because Cipriano was really upset that we didn't come and make a personal visit. And so Cora is going to frame this as amending the gaffe that she made of not making a personal visit. And she's going to come with this little token. It's going to be some of these berries that we just got, and they're fresh, and they're in this nice little basket, and there's a little bow, and there's a little card. It's been handwritten by Cora. Cora has amazing penmanship. She
has to a fencer and a lawyer. Like, come on.
Exactly. Right. She's got 3 dots in skirmish right now, and they're all precision dots.
That's right.
So she has this like exquisite ornate card that she's sort of calligraphied. And so she comes, and Cipriana is part of House Lavelle. Is that right? Yeah. So she's going to take the carriage across town. We have transport. Should be no problem for her to get across town. And she has her dashing dueling sword, which is more a sign of status than a weapon. She happily hands it over to the house guard.
They don't ask for it.
Oh, they don't. Okay.
They don't even ask for it. No, they. I mean, you're a Bravo. You are an invested Bravo from the House of Battalia.
Yeah.
Like they know you're not going to come in here like and start something by yourself. You would come with a legion, right? Like
right. Not. And I ask a herald or an officiant or somebody like that, and I say, I believe I am rather late for a personal meeting with Cipriana, with Lady Cipriana.
There's absolutely like a moment of, as you kind of take the Chamberlain aside, who the Chamberlain on duty, and like there's a look of absolute shock. Like this, I thought this was already settled, right? But at the same time, like, okay, well, that's your funeral.
Yeah, totally. Exactly. Like,
and
why are you here right now? Yeah.
They lead you in. They lead you into Cipriana's apartments because the head of the guard of the first house of Ilrian, she warrants her own apartments. And I think that they're opulent but functional, if that makes any sense. So like you're sat down in a plush kind of velvet couch, like a settee, and Cipriana comes in and she's masked and she's very, very well put together, but you can see that she is visibly perspiring, and she has a blade in her hand, and she kind of racks it and comes and sits next to you, like right next to you.
Oh, nice.
And I think that very primly crosses her legs, looks you dead in the face, and says, "Now tell me why."
I think I have this little basket of berries in my hand, and I'm like about to hold it up, and I'm like, you seem more direct than I expected. Do you want to know why we vanquished those Taurs from the hill, or do you want to know why I didn't make this visit myself before?
The latter. I'm on my own time right now. I'm not representing the house's. I'm not representing the house at this moment. I'm always representing the house. You understand
Of course.
precisely what I mean.
I understand precisely what you mean. I just didn't expect you to be so direct. I find it refreshing. And I like pull a ribbon and this like, I like pull a ribbon off the thing and like the wrapping like falls away and like one berry like rolls out and like falls into like the space between my legs, like rolls into my lap, like my legs are pinched together and I like pull that one berry out and I stick it in my mouth delicately.
It would have.
Oh, it would have.
It would have fallen into the space between your legs, but she catches it just viper quick.
Nice. Perfect. I love it. And I say, these are fresh. We should eat them before they're perfect now. We should eat them before they start to age. And I take one and I like expect that she'll eat the one she caught. Because
She does. Yeah. She looks at it and like there's a moment where it's almost like she wouldn't poison this.
I like that moment. I think I kind of wait. I think I kind of hold it like pursed at my lips for just a moment. Like, are you gonna do it? Am I gonna do it? Who's gonna go first? And then I just like squeeze it in my mouth, and it bursts inside my mouth. It's like this, very juicy berry.
She nods. She accepts that as like the as the sign, and then she eats hers, and she's like, "You didn't come here to deliver me berries.
No,
I'm being plain with you. Be plain with me."
I wanted your help. And I also thought that it was time that we met on a environment that wasn't a dark night on a spooky hill. I couldn't come before. We had too much to do. You have errands, I have errands. We can't
always choose our avenue, I understand.
Yes, but me spending time coming here to apologize to you is exactly what the house should have done. But it's not what we needed. What we needed was to go stop this monster from murdering people in the twist, and that's what we did. It was not meant as a slight towards you, but if you would like me to make some sort of public gesture to show it, I'm happy to.
You're here. That's public.
Okay. So what do you know about rogue knacks in this city? And she like gets right down to it. She's just like, cool. So we're both on the same page here that this is our private time, and you want to know what I was on about. Well, what I'm on about is chasing down a rogue knack. And and I like feed her a little information. I tell her a little about what happened. I try to get her excitement. I try to get her excited about this and see if she has any leads.
So she draws herself up as soon as it's clear that there's business on the table as well, right? Yeah. Like there was that moment of almost vulnerability there between the two of you as it became clear that there was something of a fraught relationship, but fences were attempting to be made or mended.
And Cora's happy to extend that moment out for a bit too. Like if she feels that there's like reception from that, like if she feels like that this genuine connection is there, she might kind of lose track and like not. She doesn't have to be like a snake about this. Like if Cipriana is interested in talking, like they could go like spar together for a little bit. Like she's totally down with like oh you're kind of into me. Well, I'm kind of into that, sure. So
I think that it comes up and like it's like we were fighting a monster and I couldn't come myself. Now tell me what you know about rogue knacks, right? Like that's kind of the flow of the conversation. It's like the berries are good, aren't they? Yeah, they're pretty good. I should have come. Yeah, you really should have. We can do this somewhere public. This is public. Okay, well, knacks. And she's like, she stands up and kind of brushes herself off. There are a couple of leaves from the berries and little bits that have. You both eat neatly, but look, there's a little bit of shrapnel when it comes to arbor berry.
Can I pick a tiny bit away from like her collar, like a little like stem of a berry that's like wouldn't stain, but you still wouldn't want to leave it? Like
No,
I can just sort of groom her slightly.
Yeah. So as she kind of stands up, she brushes off and she's like, the Chamberlain announced you. I was in the middle of my workout.
Well, I'm sorry to have interrupted. Can I make it up to you anyway?
I think I mean for you to.
Oh, you're cutting out.
I mean for you to. And she stands up and she gestures to the sword on your hip and she's like, you don't just play one.
No,
you don't
no.
Play a bravo, right?
I mean, there's only one way for you to really find out. if I'm just playing at this, or if I've really dedicated my whole life to the perfection of balancing this
fight.
blade. Yeah.
So I think that this might be like to get her to really come out and tell.
I am plagued by the fact that your Zoom is being a jerk, and so your audio is like creeping out. I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna guess that
sorry.
you said to prove myself to her, maybe I should make a skirmish roll. Maybe
Yeah.
we should treat this as a skirmish.
That's what this sounds like.
Nice, excellent. All right. So I'm gonna make a downtime roll as a skirmish. I'm gonna add one because she's a contact. And let's see how this goes. I've lost you. Oh, there you are.
Trying to make my Zoom less of a jerk.
Oh, you sound much better now. Fortune. Let's see what I get. Oh, would you look at that, Malika? I got a 6 on your clock.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay.
I saw the ones first.
Yeah, I know, but luckily.
So here's how it shakes down. Like from the moment that your swords touch, you know you have her.
Mm.
I think that you duel up and down like the piece that is in the other side of the room, just sort of back and forth, and it's just, you know, a swish of steel and a clink of blades turned. There's a moment where, you know, you kind of grapple in close to each other, trying to get the killing blow, and finally, you know, you step back in just the perfect amount of distance to get your blade halfway and kind of up and under like a rib, and it's the perfect coupe. Like you are back and then in before she knows what happens. And I think like there's a moment where it's just like she's still masked, but you can see like the rage in the eyes, right? Like there's a moment where it's just like, and then she laughs, and it's like bells and vipers. And finally she says, I know what you're talking about. So go ahead and mark in 3 ticks on that clock, and then go back and tell Malika that you know exactly where that knack is and who that knack is.
Awesome.
Oh, does that fill the clock? Or is it still?
Fill the clock. The clock is done.
Nice.
Oh, very cool. Yes, Malika, I will leave it to you to fill that clock. Oh, you already got it. Excellent. And
Jamie's very happy to fill it. Malika is not. So.
Right. And yeah, I definitely like when she tells me, I say, your generosity is in service of all of Orien, but I will remember it particularly as you have aided me. I will not forget.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
If she drew you in, would you fight her?
If she drew, how do you mean?
I mean, if she laid a hand on you.
Oh, if she was making sexy time advances, would I? Sorry, I'm clueless in certain ways, Drake.
It's okay. Yeah, if she reached out to you and tried to pull you closer, would you fight her?
No. Well, I mean, yes. The answer, no, I would not. She would have to find that out herself. She would have to take that risk to know. But
I just want to know. Because she's reaching out.
Oh yeah.
And, like if she kind of like just very, very gently like cupped the side of your face and just sort of like drew you in just a little bit. Where are you pulling back?
I think no. I think I would. What kind of? How's her mask fixed?
So it's a black satin ribbon at the back of her head, and it holds almost like a porcelain half mask, almost like down to the cheekbones. So
is it like super taboo to take off a mask? Like, have I seen her face before?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then I want to see how far she's willing to go. So she pulls me slightly closer, and the camera angle comes from behind her head, and my hand reaches behind her, and I have my fingers on the ribbon, and I'm pausing, like is this like I'm not gonna do it, but it will be this beautiful release, just like the basket opened up of the mask coming off. But I'm like looking her dead in the eye to see if like I have permission to remove her mask. Because kissy time will happen if the mask comes off, is what I'm saying.
She has your face with one hand, and then like her other hand, like again, viper quick goes back and like catches your hand.
Nice.
And she pulls it out in front of her, and she brushes a kiss across your knuckles, and she says, "In the street, we're still enemies."
I feel like she made a reference to the street, and I have to make a reference to the sheets, and that's where the camera cuts away.
That's right. Yeah. All right. So that's one of your downtimes.
That's one of my downtimes. Yeah. So sorry. I don't know why I have to make everything lurid, but it felt like it was right for Soprano.
Yeah, sure was.
So my second downtime action, is actually a flashback just to earlier when we first got back. And it's right when we first sort of like recovered and we gotten back, and Core is Core sort of like, we have all this like ichor of the creature we fought, and we've got feathers and all over us from the gulls, and it's just a giant mess. And she's like all covered in mud, and she is clearly just like beaten and battered. She has the battered harm, and so I'm going to start disrobing and cleaning off, and I think I just have like nothing but like a wrap on the top, and I'm picking out these like wooden splinters that are like embedded in my chest and shoulder and back, like I think they're like kind of this area, and at a certain point like I can't reach to the back, and so Kristen, I ask Lorraine, like, can you help me? Or like, I don't think I ask, I just sort of look at you like we're all gross and muddy from this horrible battle and this horrible fight. But I look at you like, clearly I'm gonna have this like splinter in the back. It's gonna get infected if I don't pull it out. And so I'm looking to like gain this assistance to try and recover from my perilous wounds suffered in battle at your side.
Yeah, where are we?
I feel like it's like the gatehouse where the soldiers probably like, where like if we were gonna go to war, this is the room where like all the soldiers would be like arming up. They'd be like putting on hauberks and stuff. So there's like these leather hauberks like hanging on the wall, and there's like a bunch of swords that that are against there. But like it's kind of drafty. But we have like a big fireplace that creates kind of like just enough warmth, just local to it. Like it's a drafty room, but like if you're sitting right next to it. So Cora's sort of like sitting on the edge of the fireplace with like firelight coming across her, and she's like as she's trying to remove these things. And I feel like this is where you can like throw your dirty crap and
yeah,
fine. Like it's like no one's gonna get mad. This is the proper place to be disrobing after a battle, right?
Right.
And there's like a big old sink, big old tub of water, right? And that like you can clean yourself with and all that.
Yeah.
Like
Lenore is definitely gonna help you, and then take like the rag from the big old tub of water to help like clean your wounds on your back as well. So
I definitely wince, at the pain, right? Or maybe it's how cold the water is, or maybe it's your touch. I mean,
probably all of these things. I think Lenore is extra gentle after that.
I think she knows that I make like, yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Core's being dramatic, but Lenore's gonna lean into it and allow Core to be dramatic about it.
Sounds good.
Kind of just have to at this point.
Exactly. Yeah. There's no fighting it.
And I think at some point, we just sort of see like Core pulling out the pins of like the few pins that are like left in her wig to like, because like her wig is like fucked up, and and so she's just like, it's time off. And so in another, speaking of moments of intimacy, Core doesn't wear a mask, but she always wears a wig. And I think after you sort of take care of her, she just like pulls off the wig and sets it down. You see her very like short, spiky hair that doesn't it looks like hair that's been covered by a wig all the time, right? It's kind of flat and shorn and so that's.
How short is it?
I think it's like less than an inch. Like it's like lace flat because it's had a wig on it. But if she were to wash it and clean it, it would be all spiky.
Okay. I was gonna say Lenore would brush your hair, but if it's really short, then I think she just kind of like runs her fingers.
Oh, it could be a little longer.
Just a little bit so that Lenore can brush your hair.
It probably needs a cut.
It probably does.
Probably needs a cut. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. So my second downtime action is to heal and recover from my battered.
Outstanding. Yeah, we have a do we have a grace or do we have a physiker?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, I don't remember. We
I think we get to
decided.
choose. I don't know if we've decided that.
We have a physician. Hospitalia has a physician. So we get an additional die for like physical wounds as opposed to like the whole arcane wounds.
Right.
So you've got Lenore helping you out. Are you calling for the physiker or are you?
I don't think so because mechanically speaking, at least level 1 harm I think just automatically heals. It doesn't. You don't have to roll on the clock if I remember.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I only had level 1 harm, so it's not something that requires physiker's aid.
Now this is more just a you need this moment with Lenore.
Exactly.
And so yeah, this would be fine on its own. Like it's nasty, it's gruesome, but it would heal.
Yeah.
But this is a moment where you can be close to another member of the coterie.
Exactly.
Be vulnerable for a second. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. She could see me with my guard down, and I am being more vulnerable with Lenore in this moment with my wig off than I will be in the future with Cipriana.
That's right.
Even though there is greater intimacy,
It's good. It's good.
I
Because
like it.
at the end of the day, who do you really trust, right?
Yeah, right. So cool. That's my 2 downtime actions.
Sounds good. What about Lenore? What is Lenore doing over the next couple of days?
Sorry, Kristen is taking notes and is like a page in already.
Oh wow.
I know. It's so I can read over it before the next game. So I would like to indulge and reduce my stress. I don't
Absolutely.
believe I have any harm, but I do have 4 stress.
Always good.
So I think my vice is pleasure. So is that how I would do? Okay.
So this is how Lenore typically cuts loose. You decided on pleasure for Lenore, whether this be whatever, right? It's just a matter of you pitch me a scene here. Where does Lenore go? What does she do? Like, is this a drunken bender? Is this going to a bawdy house? Is this what are we seeing?
So I'm friends with a tavern owner who I think we decided kind of helps with that indulgence or with the vice. So I'm going to say that this would be after the scene with Core, that Lenore is going to visit the tavern. And I think that Lenore indulges the way we typically see like men indulge after battle, right? So there's like lots of drinking. She can probably drink more than it looks like she can for her weight and size.
We're gonna have to see Lenore and Rumor play Tonk at some point.
Yeah,
that's gotta happen.
Absolutely.
I think out of game Rumor will win, but Lenore will not let on to that concern.
Nice.
Lenore will play.
Kristen, is Lenore at all flushed after her encounter with Core? Is there a little bit of like, oh, I'm gonna go have a drink, or
Yes.
Gotta go drink this away?
Oh,
Nice.
absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Lenore probably would have flirted or would have acted a little bit differently if Core hadn't removed her wig. But when she removed her wig, I think it moved to like a vulnerable state, and so Lenore didn't want to cross a line
Let's be professional here.
Yeah, it felt more like trust. And so it was a little less sexy time advances in shot.
We're not at the wig removing part of our relationship yet.
Right. Right.
I'll pull the splinters out of your back, but the wig stays on.
Right. I think Lenore
Yeah.
wanted to be respectful after that.
Nice.
She's not, well, no, she's respectful at the tavern, of course, but she drinks heavily and probably flirts and finds a consenting person to close the door with for the evening. And yeah.
So before that happens, is Fareed the kind of friend who asks, like, if you come in and you're like, leave the bottle, is Fareed the kind of friend who'd be like, are you okay? Or is this like purely a here's one and here's another one? And
yes. I think Fareed in a I think leaves the bottle if there's some sort of like Lenore probably would smoke a joint if we're all okay with that. Like that's like the level of her, you know what I mean? That's like as far as she goes for like relaxing time in that arena. And then I think Fareed also, if he knows of someone in the tavern that night that might also be looking for a good time, so totally 100% consensual good time, then I think he might also like make an introduction. I think he just knows, yeah, he's a little bit of a matchmaker. I think he just knows Lenore's taste in both men and women and probably just helps out.
that's outstanding.
A helpful nod, just for sort of like to make sure you're looking the right way.
Right, exactly.
Love it.
Yeah. So that's what we see. We see our former Mercy tying one on, and then eventually like there's a moment where we don't quite see who's in the room, but the door closes, and like the last thing we see is like fingertips trailing across the door jamb, right? Go ahead and roll your indulgence, and we'll get some stress.
Yeah. And add one die to it because you brought in your contact to help you out.
Oh, that's the indulgence vice button, right? That is
Yeah.
Right.
That is put here for our convenience.
Yes.
A 5 and a
Nice.
4. Okay.
Well, the good news is you get rid of all your stress.
Yeah.
The bad news, I think you overindulged.
Oh, because I rolled the 5, I overindulged because I rolled 1 above my stress. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Do I overindulgence? Drake, do you tell me what that looks like, or do I need to pick
So
something?
I'm going to go ahead and give you a couple of options here.
Okay.
Out of the box, you overindulge, you make an ass of yourself. Your indulgence person, your person who purveys.
Mhm.
Purveyor, that's what those are called in English. Your purveyor cuts you off until you can make amends or whatever. You can brag about your latest endeavors. Word gets out and people will know all about your stuff. I'll roll an extra entanglement, things like that.
Okay.
You go on such a big bender that you don't come back. I don't like that one, but or this is the one that because this is the scene that we've pitched. How is this this hookup gonna come and bite you in the ass?
Ooh, I have a
Oh.
suggestion.
Please.
Like maybe it turns out it's someone from another house.
I
right?
literally was thinking that.
Yeah. Like it was a setup, basically.
Yes.
A sexy setup, but
A
you know.
sexy setup.
Yeah. Maybe Freed
Yeah.
knew, maybe he didn't, but yeah.
Yeah. I like something that
love
will
that.
cause more drama later. So let's do that, please.
Cool. I'm just gonna go ahead and take that dagger. I'm gonna put it in
I-
my rack over here, and when I need a fun
Your knives
complication,
out style.
Yeah.
just a hopeless amount of knives that go right next to my hopeless amount of seagulls. All right, so we'll see how that affects you later.
Awesome.
But I got good news. Because you overindulged, you get that extra experience tonight, no matter what.
Ooh,
Nice.
awesome.
Okay, so you've got one more downtime action.
Yep.
What would you like to do? We've got long-term projects. We've
I
got
think, yeah, I was looking at acquire asset, but I don't know. So we talked about this briefly out of game, like an email, but I want to be, I think it's long-term project because I want to be studying the essence of the monsters that I collect, and I might need Malika's help at some point with this. So I'm thinking of setting up a long-term project, but I don't 100% know the outcome yet, but I would before I add it to the clock. Is that okay? And
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
So what this long-term projects really mean is you tell me what you're trying to get, what fictional positioning, what information, what additional assets or anything like that, what you're trying to get. And then we'll discuss how best to go about it and how much effort it's going to take. And that's how we kind of
Okay.
frame that out. So
Okay.
you want to know about the monster essence. What effect are we trying to get here?
So one of two things, maybe you can help me with it and I won't take too much time.
No, that's okay.
One, I either would like to study it so that I can learn more about where they're coming from, if that's something that's going to help us, or I would like to study it so that I can make some sort of potion or asset that it can be used to our advantage when we fight one
Sure.
of the monsters. Like maybe it
Ooh.
covers our scent and it thinks it's that we are one of them for a short period of time, or something along those lines.
That's super cool. Yeah, both of those are awesome. If you want to create some kind of alchemical admixture that'll give you an advantage, that's probably going to be a 4 o'clock. Like it's not overly difficult
Cool.
to find a way to do this. Yeah.
Let's do that.
So is this feeling like a study at this phase of all this, or is this more of like a tinker? Like, is this something that mercies often do?
I think that mercies, at least from where I come from, do. So I'm going to say that let's see. Yeah, I'm going to go with tinker, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
And just to throw this out there, are you doing this on your own, or are there any members like Red Crow, a freelance monster hunter who is your enemy, or anyone else any of your other friends who might
Does it need to be a friend, or can it be a member of our group? Because I think that Lenore would go to Malika.
anyone
Is
can
that
aid you
allowed?
fictionally, but only if you pick off of the friends list.
Gotcha,
Does
gotcha.
it give you a mechanical? I believe.
I don't.
So it would cost an extra downtime action if you guys wanted to spend one of your favor and get an additional downtime action. You could totally get Malika to roll for you if you wanted to.
You know,
An extra die is going to be one of your contacts or somebody fictionally.
I do like the idea that Malika brings Red Crow, who's your rival, and insists that they could help us, right? Like
Ooh.
that might be interesting.
Okay.
And Malika's still upset about how Lady Core,
Yeah.
Obviously.
did their
Right.
thing.
Lady Cora was
so-
just like, here's the address on the back of the card that she wrote on the back of the little tag.
Oh, yeah.
Cipriano.
And Malika just said, "Oh," like that's it. Like her used to say anything else.
Nope. No,
Jamie,
congratulations.
is that cool with you if Core does that? Because Core didn't fill up the clock completely. You worked towards that. And so like while Core is going to position it as like, oh, I figured it all out. I don't like, there's definitely arcane things that you figured out about what's going on that constitute part of the completion of that. So is that cool with you that Core is coming at it all like, oh yeah, I totally.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I love this rival/enemies to lovers thing we have going on. So no worries.
Super good. Okay.
But I think that would mean Malika would show up and say, Lenore, I know what you have in mind, and I know how you feel about Red Crow, but I really think they could help us.
Tell me a little bit about Red Crow. And aside from freelance monster hunter.
They're a freelance monster hunter.
Good. Good start.
Red Crow is another female monster hunter who I think we had decided this originally, that there is like a rivalry between Lenore and Red Crow, but they may have had like a moment, like an intimate moment once that adds tension now to that, to that relationship and
absolutely.
interaction. Yeah.
this
Okay.
one night no one wants to talk about.
That no one wants to talk about.
We were holed up. Terrible things were howling at the door. We were both going to die there. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think that before it might have been more like a friendly rivalry where if things got tough, we still would have had each other's back. But now it's just kind of gotten awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll
who
see
knew
if we can
that
work through
litter
that.
conflux was gonna,
Do we know about
knew?
Red Crow
Survived.
at all? Do we know that like you don't like her, even if we don't know the details?
Yeah, I'm gonna say we've had to interact with her, or at least she's been brought up at least one time, and it's probably pretty obvious to everyone that I don't.
Yeah.
That it's
So
not really
when
comfortable.
Malika shows up with Red Crow behind her, Core is hanging out. She's not helping. She doesn't know how to help with what you're doing. But
Of
you
course
know,
not.
Core also has like this smell about her that is familiar to so Core, she's just helping. She's sort of watching you like idly. She's like enjoying watching you like tinker and work away.
Yeah.
And then the door opens and you kind of, look up like you normally would. And Core just like looks you dead in the eye. She's like, ma'am, don't keep looking at me. Don't look her in the eye, and tries to keep you from looking at Red Crow when they come in. Obviously, this will fail long term, but for a moment, she's just hoping that she can get your attention
Yes.
and be like, ma'am, don't look Red Crow in the eye.
For a second, Lenore is thinking, what is Core gonna do for attention now? Like some backflip off this table they're sitting on, or put on a new wig or a wig reveal, like a wig under a wig. Like what is happening? What attention does Core need? So
Exception.
I think when Lenore finally does turn around and see Red Crow, she's very caught off guard.
Nice. Tried to help you. Tried so hard.
You did, Core.
I feel the help. I feel the help so hard. All right.
And Malika will look at you, Lenore, and be like, I brought the help that we need. And I throw a look at Lady Core, like,
Don't be unwelcoming to our guest. Yeah, I think that unless Red Crow is gonna say anything, I think Lenore probably recovers pretty quickly and tries to go into like all business. Like,
Yeah.
fine, you're here. Here's what
Yep.
we're looking for. And
So I think Red Crow like opens her mouth just a little bit to like try to get like that out. Like, okay, I'm only here on business. This is nothing personal. I don't want to be here.
Mhm.
Anything like that. But like opens her mouth just a little bit and you're like, okay, this is what we need. And she shuts her mouth and she nods once and she's like, I'm at your disposal.
Awesome. Yeah, so I think that I don't know what details they would be exactly, but maybe there's one or two things that Lenore holds back, but for the most part gives all the information. So we have, what Monsters Essence comes from, where, what she's discovered so far, and that way she can get the assistance and information she needs.
Yeah, I think that this is something that Monster Hunters do, whether they're mercies or freelance or whatever. They get these admixtures. They put these alchemical concoctions and decoctions together so that it's easy for them to engage scary things on their own terms. Red Crow's good at it. I mean, you're good at it too, but Red Crow has not had the mercies and has not had any kind of like support structure, and so she kind of had to get mean. And the best way to do that is be smarter than the adversaries, right? So I think she like rolls up her sleeves and kind of gets in next to you, and as soon as the purple vial comes out, it's all business. Like there's no warmth, there's no like banter or anything fun about this. Like it's very. And at the end of it, when it's all said and done, like Red Crow is going to turn to you and be like, now you owe me.
I think Lenore opens her mouth to say something and then it closes it and gives one nod.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your tinker, add an extra die.
Okay.
While I add that to the rack.
I feel
Cora's
like I've
totally
given
just
you a
like
lot.
watching you the whole time. She's having a grand time, just like sitting there reading a book, but like not actually. Just watching as you do this.
Ooh.
All right. So that is going to be one tick on the clock.
you can spend one favor if you want to push up the result, if you
Sure
like.
can.
But one click is still one.
That's
tick,
okay.
so-
Yeah,
yeah.
that's okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, that kind of, unless anybody else has anything else they'd like to take care of in downtime, that ends downtime. I get to tell you that there are some people who have questions within the house for how the whole thing went down. I rolled your entanglement for the last game, and it came up a pleasant chat. So we can talk about who it is that is going to have some pointed questions about how the coterie handled the situation down in the arbor, or we can just kind of let that lie and be very determinedly elsewhere as we move into today's errand.
Oh, especially Navi, with what you found out about, with what Rumor found out. I mean, I'm not sure how much Rumor is going to share with the rest of us, but like, I think it'd be totally fun to like have the house, the house report, and to talk to some of the other house members and see, what they think, and et cetera, et cetera. I'm for it. If other folks feel like that would be tedious, I'm also happy to bail it and just say that, save it for later.
I'm kind of curious to see who's mad at us, but of course I like leaning into like the political side because that's my jam. So I'm like, I want to, who's mad? But as far as like sharing information, she totally shared that information, because basically she'd be like, so can we crash a wedding? Can we mess this up, guys? Like, I'm really excited about ruining these people's lives. Can we do?
She does this every time.
I think this is the most excited that Cora has like seen you. Like, you seem like way more invested in like crashing someone's wedding than like killing a monster, or which makes sense. Who wants to go to dank dark tunnels and fight monsters? Like, it's way more fun to.
I mean, Lenore, but
yes, right. But I think that's hilarious. So
to a lesser extent, Malika.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when Malika sees how excited Rumor is, like at first they're like, what, a wedding, what, crashing it? But then when Rumor looks so excited, Malika's like, well, I suppose I do have a dress for the occasion.
All right, so do we want to talk to we want to talk to
but
the,
I'm gonna look at Lady Core and
folks.
I'd be like, you should help deal with this mess, my dear. You've been on such a good streak. I'm sure your luck will hold out.
What out of character, Jamie? What mess is Malika?
Oh, in
referring
terms
to?
of like, in terms of dealing with the person who might be mad at us because of how things went down. Yeah.
This is a perfectly pleasant chat.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what gave you the impression that anybody's upset. This is
Like
perfectly pleasant
there's
chat.
like a note card, like how they give out during the Victorian era, and it just has a name and time and of the place in the house, and I'm like,
it's a greeting card.
Yeah.
We're
Cora's like, I'm sure they just want to congratulate us on the amazing work that we've done. And she like, what would be like a setting equivalent to a fist bump with Lenore? Like, what would be like yeah, we killed that fucking monster good?
I think that's called the fist bump.
I mean, is that what okay.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with there being a fist bump in Ilrin. Like, I don't know that there's another way to like properly convey like the yes, you must hit that.
I do like the fist bump.
Right. I was almost imagining like the clink of blades, like holding up the sword just for you to wrap it with your
that's cool too.
Just the hilt and just like
exactly, like bank, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I like that too. Yeah.
and Malika is like, oh, women and their swords.
Yeah. Yeah, nice.
Yes,
So Cora's
beautiful.
confident that this will be nothing but praise.
Okay, cool. So does anybody have an idea of who might have sent this, or are you happy for me to give you an NPC here?
I think so far we only know our contact. Oh, that's not true. We each have somebody. We each have a member. We each have a member of House Battaglia on our friends list, so we can add somebody if we want. And I know Core has somebody as well. Her contact is Blair, a fawning noble. So if this really is good news, I'd love it to be Blair. That sounds great. If it's actually bad news, it could be Blair and someone else who is.
I'm into that actually. Like, I like the idea that this is a pleasant chat. It's going to be basically a high tea in one of the parlors. Are you all going? Or are you like sending a sacrificial lamb? Like, who's going?
I'm definitely going.
Oh, I think we're all going.
Oh, we're all going? Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we pause for costume porn? Like,
Oh,
what is everybody
right.
wearing?
Thank you.
What do
Good
you
point.
wear to a high
Yeah.
tea with
We'll
Blair
give
and
you.
Oh boy.
So Sean has to think of a tea wig. We'll
Yeah,
give him
exactly.
time.
Yeah, please. Thank
Fewer
So he should go
daggers.
last.
how many ribbons? How beribboned are you?
I feel like it has to have like good height.
Yeah. A really high wig. I like this.
Yeah, I think Malika is because usually they're wearing like purple silks and leathers, but you know, if we're forced to go to tea, they have I think they're actually wearing a mask, like a specific one that's meant to somewhat like it blurs the lines of the features, so it's not as easy to read the person, but you still see the mouth and everything. And it's this strange, it looks like it's made out of glass, so it feels like you can see Malika's features underneath it, but it kind of shifts and moves a little strangely.
That's cool.
And they're
'cause typically, if you weren't an Ilrian-born noble, you're not entitled to wear a mask unless it's a courtesy mask, right? Like one of these lace confections that isn't quite a mask, and you're just kind of straddling that border because yes, I'm very important, and I am the Witch of the Wilds, and you cannot tell me what I cannot wear. So that's super cool. Very, very bold and very, very cool.
Yes, absolutely. My lovely lady made it just for me because she knows how I like to upset people.
Got to
So
poke.
good.
Got to poke. That's cool. All right. Anybody else got any particular wardrobe items that we need to be aware of so I can maybe work them into this scene?
Core is wearing a floral dress. She's very flat chested, so so she can wear these very deep V's, and they work very, they like work very well. Nothing's gonna fall out, and so she has this beautiful flower dress that's not her typical. She's all like leathers and blacks and browns normally, but like
Working clothes.
Right. But this is high tea, so she has a blonde wig with locks that come down and a bonnet on top of that.
Wow.
And I mean, this is tea, right?
Yeah. I mean, if there's a time to bust it all out, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Yangtze are all about beauty and presentation, and
yeah,
so,
absolutely.
And she has a parasol that she's like sort of like dashing around, and it like flips closed, and she sort of like waves it like it's a sword. It's not a sword. There's no secret dagger blade in the parasol. But
I'm
she's
upset.
still like, when it's closed, she's sort of like, well, maybe there really is. Maybe
it's not deadly. Wink.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll like flap close, and she'll sort of like wave it like flirtatiously, and then pop it back up and look very innocent and go in and go that way.
Oh my gosh, can we add a detail about the obnoxious parasol?
Yeah.
You know how like Mary Poppins and stuff, like there's some umbrellas that have a bird head
Yes.
that's attached to it. Like, can we say it's like a beautiful white version, but basically it's a turkey looking head kind of
Yes,
situation.
absolutely. Yeah.
100%.
They told me it was a swan.
Yeah, that's in the handle, right? That's in like the hilt. Like,
Exactly.
like the hilt.
So you don't really
grabbing,
see. Yeah.
choking the turkey by his neck. Yes, absolutely. Got it. Okay.
I'm here for that.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm broken. I can't do this anymore.
You asked about.
I did. And it was great. I loved every bit of that. Right on down to the swan. Yeah, Lenore, are you going over the top here too, or are you just full working clothes?
Is there a color in Illyrian where that is not appropriate for high tea? Like,
You can make one.
Yeah, tell me what it is.
I really like purples and blacks and pinks, so I don't want it to be any of those.
Okay.
Red. It's too.
Ooh, I was gonna.
Yes,
I was gonna
red.
say maybe there was like a time that blood was shed during like this particular tea party, and so from now on, no one else can wear red. Like,
Yeah.
because it symbolizes that betrayal that happened, or
I like-
tragedy or fight.
I like that.
Especially because two of your your rival houses have red as a color.
Oh, love it.
Oh, okay. So I think that Lenore does not care for dresses. She's not normally in dresses, right? This is not how you fight. That's not how she fights monsters. If others would like to, awesome. But that's not how she fights. So she is in a dress because it's tea, high tea. But the bottom of the dress is hemmed with red.
Nice.
Mm.
Nice.
Just a subtle dig. She's a
Just a
rebel.
little.
I'm here under
Has the
sufferance.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not enough to say I'm overtly flaunting your rules. Just
Right. Just the tiny.
Oh, you don't understand. I'm Garnetine. Your ways are not mine.
Exactly.
love it.
I think for this one, Rumor had to like she had no idea how to dress for one of these, right? Because so she's high society's not her thing. So I think she probably went and like rolled Giovanni Battiste for like she was like, I need your help because they're almost the same size, right? Because he's a little tiny guy. So I was like, I need your help. I need something. So she comes in wearing this kind of androgynous, like it's like a long sleeved kind of like overcoat, but there's nothing underneath. It's just kind of like a clasp that barely keeps it closed.
Nice.
And like she's got leather pants on that are like skin tight and like covered in like these little beautiful pearls, and it's absolutely totally Giovanni's clothing. Like she looks amazing in it.
Did he loan you
love
some?
it.
Did he loan you some platforms?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? Tell me about the boots. You got to tell me about the boots.
Okay. I think this time it's not his amazing pearl boots. It's like
Oh, yeah.
these boots are like hand brocaded. So like they're leather, but like there's flowers like actually done in stitch all over them. And there's probably some obnoxious like gemstones, like their feet are just glittering. And like, ooh, we gotta have the little metal thing so that you can hear the tap, tap, tap as she steps. So she sounds important.
You're in my head because I was like, okay, now tell me about the boot chains. Because that's phenomenal. Yeah, little rose gold boot chains that are worked into it. That's awesome. Okay, so you all make quite a splash at this tea as you all walk in and kind of present yourselves. Does anybody want to use their contact, or am I? We're using Blair. Does anybody else want their contact to be in here?
News? I think that was the thing that we decided, like if it was good news it would come from Blair, but if it was bad news somebody else had to be there. So is it bad news?
So Blair is, I think, over the moon. So that makes total sense, because it's basically you went out and you did this errand and you justified his love, and this is exactly why he's a fawning noble for Kor. Like she and hers will go and get it done. And I think there's somebody who has some pointed interest. It's like these people, this fresh-faced young coterie is kind of wild. Like we sent them out, and there was we thought there was a creature in the twist. We want to know, or in the arbor, we want to know, who sent it, what's going on. And instead there was a conflagration and just all the seagulls. And I think
I
that
can offer someone, if ever.
yeah, please.
Yeah.
I have here, someone that I didn't choose. Owen, a former teacher. I want to say that they used to try to teach me, but I was too much of a witch of the wilds. And I feel like this is someone who is like, you can't go around making, like pulling on and yanking on these threads of control. And
so this is a stodgy folk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Owen, male, is he a knack?
I think they're non-binary.
Non-binary. Okay.
Yeah, and I think they are a knack, and I think like it's one of those things where they have lots of papers and they've published books on the matter, and the long tradition of Hospitalia, and even though Battalia is mostly known for their martial strength, I think they are really trying to prove that Hospitalia is also strong in the arcane. So
sure. And this is somebody that has basically been courted by Hospitalia, brought into and like patroned, right, by Hospitalia. Owen is a very well thought of member of the Scullum Naturalis. or was. Now they work specifically and principally for Hospitalia.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if you consider that like our primary charge is to keep the safety of the Necromancer Hill, then like it absolutely makes sense to me that Hospitalia would be very savvy in the way of arcane things, and like consider that just like a part of their sort of arsenal, and like
Absolutely.
not a separate thing.
Absolutely.
Necessarily.
No, this is somebody that they're patroning, like, you know, the Medicis would, you know, Michelangelo. This is a master worker in a craft that is incredibly helpful and useful when you are the guards of the Necropolitan Hill. So I think Owen is sitting there at high tea. So too is Blair. They're, you know, chatting back and forth, and Blair immediately rises when he sees you all enter, and like he opens his arms, just this expansive gesture, and he's like, "We've been waiting. This is phenomenal. Please, we have so many questions. We want to sit down, and please take tea. We'll get." And he like snaps a couple of times, and servants like detach from the background and begin moving in chairs and arranging cushions and setting out tea and snacks and things like that. All the nibbles and sips, and Blair, you know, interlaces his fingers and like, "So, how did it go?"
I want to catch him before he like while he's still like making this like wide gesture. I think Cora is tall. She's 5'10", 5'11", but Blair is huge. Blair's like 6'4", just ripped. He's just giant. He's just this incredible specimen of a beefcake. And so when he's like, you know, so she can like, she doesn't look up to a lot of people, but when she gets close to Blair, she has to look up to him. So she like runs in and like plants her hands on his chest and gives him this like very like appropriate but very close like kiss on each cheek, and it's like, "It's so good to see you," like as he's sort of open armed, and you know, and it's definitely like a peck. It's nothing untoward.
Right. No.
But it's also very like close, and like when she puts her hands on his chest, it's like a thump, and you know, but he absolutely, you know, this will not stagger him in the least.
No, let me amend my role play there, because that is not what I was expecting, and I love this. Okay, so you know, his hands out, you give him this decorous peck on either cheek, and he chuckles kind of low in his throat. Yeah, I have so many questions. I've heard so much, and I just need you to clear up a few things, because there are concerns. And at this, he kind of like gestures with the hand that is not, you know, kind of giving you the sort of affectionate like squeeze on the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
He gestures with his left hand over to Owen, who is this severe, kind of carved from granite, has never smiled. Like he's probably in his late 50s, maybe early 60s, and he has no laugh lines at all.
Sad man. Well, that's good for his face, you know. No
yeah,
wrinkles, right?
they're completely deadpan. They have their fingers kind of steepled.
Core nods like very like willingly, and she takes her parasol, whips it around, it closes, and she slides it. I think just like out of formality, Blair would have a sword at his side, even if he's not a duelist, just because it's a family thing. And she like slips her parasol into the hilt of his sword and lifts it up like half an inch, so it like comes out of its scabbard just a tiny bit and then clinks back down again. She's like, "Of course." And it's like a little tease of his blade, and there's like, "Anything for you," and then, you know, sits down to take tea.
All right.
Sorry, Kristen.
That's so good. So Owen is standing. It was sitting there. Just the portrait of someone who is kind of carved from. They reach out. They take their tea. They take a sip. They set it down, and then again, the fingers kind of lace together.
Yeah, and I think Malika will look towards Owen and say, "Master Owen, I did not expect you to join us. They did not write your name on the invitation card, but I am most pleased to see you."
Alas, Mr. Alons, it's my party. I do not require an invitation.
Of course, and we are most pleased to be invited, aren't we, Lenore?
Oh, absolutely. And she's like been fawning over. It's really pretty clear to all of you that this is very fake. It's not, well, I wouldn't say it's very fake. She likes Blair, but it's very clear to you that she's putting on a show. And she's just like she's just really fawning over Blair a lot. She's like reciprocating this. So she's like, oh yeah, what? Yes, sure, of course. Happy to answer questions.
With this high wig and the curls.
Yeah.
Is it
exactly.
high? Is it a high?
No, I think it has to be because there's a bonnet on top of it.
Oh,
So
there's a bot. That's right.
yes.
Okay.
So it's
Let's not be ridiculous here.
I apologize. I don't know what I was thinking.
I mean,
It
Oh,
could be
wait, a
wide
bonnet, like that's
instead.
7.5 feet tall.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the formal wig, not the high tea wig.
That's right. If there's dancing, then it has to be taller.
This is outdoor high tea with, with songbirds making noise and a rivulet, a little stream rivuleting through.
Of
and,
course.
I mean, this is pastoral, I imagine.
It is, yeah. We're out in kind of one of the formal sun-swept gardens in this beautiful spring afternoon. We're sitting basically around one of these kind of wrought iron tables, beautifully latticed and like trellised with vines around the outside, and then these gorgeous kind of high stools set with cushions, and it's enough to take the sun in. There is kind of the babble of a small and carefully kept brook. Little flashing fish swim within, and there's this terrifying knack on the other side of the table. Tell me what you know. Not what you suppose. Tell me what you know. I understand that the thing was at least brought down, and you have our thanks for that.
Absolutely. We do know that the creature was under another Nax control, and thanks to the assistance of Lady Core, we do have a name of who that Knack is. And so we know who dared attack the Twist and who and what they are controlling. I assure you, we have everything under control.
Aside from assurances, what can you show me?
And I think because like one Knack to another, they understand. I pull a bone from the creature that I used, and it'll clearly show that the ritual had gone well, in which I had been able to like track down. And I also hand over the paper that Lady Core gave and say, this came from a trusted source, I understand. And I'm like pointedly like looking at them, but like I'm also like radiating an energy of like, Lady Core, you better back me up. I swear to God. Like, you know.
I love it.
I will put you in the ground to make this happen.
Yeah. I think Core is like, very absent-minded and sort of pay again. You have to like call her back to pay attention like 3 times before she's there. But when you're like, this came from a very trusted source, she says, "Oh yes, never mind the poetry that I wrote to Cipriana on the back of that card." But House Lavelle themselves was able to aid us in determining the name and the location of the Knack who was plaguing us, and our former Mercy, Lorraine, has also distilled some of its essence to learn more of this creature. It's a rather nice smell, if I do say so myself.
Blair turns to you, Core, and is like, "Well, that was dash cunning. What did you offer them in return?"
And Core looks very like faux embarrassed and like out of place, and she bats her eyes and she looks to Blair, and then she looks back. She's like, "I would never tell my secrets." And she looks very like coy and like reserved and kind of closes in on herself a little bit.
Blair
I
doesn't
think-
smile. He's well schooled enough to not smile. Like he just like one side of his mouth kind of like.
I think Malika can't resist and will say, we all know that the Lady Core has many gifts that she can offer.
So, as you guys are kind of under this scrutiny here, how do we think that we hold up as like the questions start to mount? Like Owen is asking some very technical, very kind of esoteric questions. He wants to know what it looked like. How did it behave? Was it hungry? Did it eat anything? Did it did you feed it after midnight? That kind of thing.
Are we trying to figure out do we look good in front of Owen? Are we trying to figure out, do we give Owen useful information that the house can then take to is the question like how what our status is, or is the question how much are we actually helping him?
Exactly.
Fine.
So it's a little bit of both, and I want to know, because that's an interesting question and I'd like to address it. Which one do you think you guys are more leaning into? Are you trying to be helpful to Owen, or are you trying to say it's cool, we got it? What
would
is
make us
Oh, you
Sorry.
cut out, Abby. Say again. You're still muted.
No,
Sorry.
you're muted.
there goes.
Hey.
Sorry. Which one would make us look better? Like, are we, is everybody here? Because I know that Rumor is a big social climber. Like, she wants to get ingratiated to the house. She wants to show that she's important. But I think she's kind of the young, hungry one. So how's everybody else feel? Like, are they still trying to, like, are they happy where they are? Or like, is everybody here like, no, we need to be the ones that look good here?
Yeah, Malika's determined to garner nobility on their own terms. So I think what Malika would like to do, and I'm open to what everyone else thinks, is to prove that we are in control and to deliver the knack to them, and prove that we can be trusted is what Malika would like to move towards. But how does everyone else feel?
No, I'm all for it. I would love to bring it to some kind of role to see whether or not we can convince them to entrust us to carry on with this versus it kind of being, because Sean, as a player, I don't have a ton invested in hunting down this knack. I think it's interesting, but like, if they're like, no, we're taking it over, it wouldn't ruin my Christmas. But I think all of our characters are kind of eager to prove themselves. So I think that's a cool kind of thing to put on the line, is like, can we stay in control of this situation?
And even if they ruin your Christmas and they say, no, we've got this. There's nothing that says that you can't show Owen up and maybe gain some status out of that.
Right.
So that's on the table as well. But if you guys are trying to come out on the end of this conversation, which we can totally role play through, but we can also just kind of leave to a roll on how convinced they are at the end of the conversation. If we're trying to show that we are in control, that we have this, and that it will get taken care of, then that sounds like some kind of a role. Whether that's a fortune roll to see whether or not Owen, this magnificently powerful knack, is convinced of our ability to handle whatever it is that is pulling these strings behind the curtain, or not. What do we think this is? Is this?
Yeah, I think I would like it because, like, so far it's been Malika and Lady Core jostling at this tea, but I wouldn't mind Rumor coming in and using her sway to like try to like, like we see a bit of that power hungriness, like just come in and. But how do you feel about that though, Rumor?
You're muted again. Tagline of 2020. You're on mute.
2020.
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, there we go.
There.
Now we can hear. Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's actually going on. So sorry. Yeah, no, Rumor is totally on. I'll make that roll and kind of like butt in there. I think that so because she's really pushing to find out what's going on, she's gonna be like, why is the house so concerned about this? It was a minor errand. We took care of it. What's making this more than a hey, pat on the back, thanks for doing your job?
Right. Ooh, prying for more. I like it. I dig it.
All right. I think this is a role to get them to let on more than maybe they want to. This might be. What do you think this is? This might be putting together some connections. This might just be buttering them up in such a way that they want to let you in on this. What are you seeing here?
I I think that this is going to be a sway no matter how you look at it, because she doesn't have the leverage here to command, and she doesn't have the footing to consort. So
This
she
one's not your friend.
Yeah, no, she's
Yeah.
trying to she's basically trying to like get that information out of them.
Right.
Yeah, she's being nonchalant too. She's playing it super cool. Like she's just like, well, why is this so important? Like it's our job. We did our job. Why are you drilling us? Like, what's with the 4th degree here?
I love that you did I love that Rumor, in my mind, surprises both Malika and Core, because we were angling for, trust us, we got this, we've got it. Like we were just assuming you would be like, yep, no, we've got this, boss. Like don't worry about it. And instead you're like, I'm digging for more. You're digging us deeper, which I love and I think is awesome. But it
Scratching at the
definitely
paint.
makes Core look at Malika oh, that's not what I thought was gonna happen. Was that what you thought was gonna happen? There's a little surprise there. It's just I'm for.
Okay. So I don't think this is necessarily something that has like a risk. I think this is more a gather information here. So you can go ahead and roll that sway as a gather information roll, and we can adjudicate it from there.
Yeah, I think we're gonna ultimately end up making another roll, probably sway as well, but another roll that's probably an action roll to see if we can actually stay in control of the
I could totally see that.
Five.
Okay, so you get imperfect and incomplete information. But what is your main question is why do you care? What is the leverage here? Okay, I could see that. I think that as the conversation goes on, you get that question in that we did the job. Why can't we just let it go? And I think that Owen sits back in their chair and folds their hands in their laps and kind of looks in a kind of far off way, as if, and this is something that Malika would notice, would realize they're assaying the weave. And I think that the power that rolls off them is not unfamiliar. It's not something alien to the workings that you do all the time. But it's almost as if they're marshaling force from around the city, trying to really kind of ensure that they're going to give the information that is going to allay your concerns, but not reveal everything. And what you get is that Owen, kind of quirks this kind of faraway smile and says, well, that House Casteno was eaten from within by a conspiracy of rogue Knacks. I believe I am well within my rights to be concerned about a rogue Knack effecting more mayhem in the city. Don't you?
Yeah, no, I think that there's a moment where Rumor is sort of she's looking at him and her eyes are kind of narrowed, and you can tell that she doesn't like being she doesn't like when people are withholding stuff. I think she can always tell when something is going on. This is a manipulative conversation. There's no way that you're just worried about rogue Knacks, right? So she's just gonna give him this really dirty look for a while. If nobody butts in, it might escalate.
Nice. I could totally see one of us butting in, because this feels like it's the opportunity to be so are you gonna give us the job or not? Jamie or Kristen, do either one of you want to are either one of you inclined to lead that? I could see Lenora being look, I'm a monster hunter. He's sending monsters. I'm the person to do it. Or Malika being, I'm the knack, send a knack to find a knack. I feel like either of you jumping in. Core will definitely do it, but she is the least equipped.
Look, let me at him. I'll stab him.
Yeah, I think this is the only time, this is not, these high teas and formalities is not Lenore's thing. It's not where she excels. And it's also not very interesting to her as a player, I'm interested, but Lenore as a character is can we get to the monsters? I either want to study their essence or I would like to stab them. So what are we going to do?
I could be making something cool right now.
Yes,
what are you doing?
Exactly. I could be flirting or making something cool. What's going on?
I could be getting in trouble.
Yeah.
So I definitely think Lenore would probably be a little more not rude. I think Malika has coached Lenore enough that she will not be in serious trouble. But I think Lenore is a little just a little more blunt or a little more direct than what is typically acceptable in these types of conversations. And so this does seem like a point where she would step in and basically just say, like, I'm a monster hunter. We have a capable team here. What's the deal? Like, why can't we just go after this person?
Okay.
I like it.
So I think this is an action roll.
Yeah, I think you're commanding.
I think it's commanding as well. You do have Blair there, who is fawning over the coterie, Core in particular. But I think that's worth a bonus die because we've roped in Blair, who is going to sing your praise and be like, "Oh, look, they're very, very, very capable people. We don't retain people who are not." And Owen is probably going to, like, despite the fact that maybe the roll won't go exactly your way, I don't think it's going to be an immediate, like, no, dismiss them. They have other things to worry about, right? I think at worst it's going to be like, okay, they have a very narrow time frame in which they can bring me results.
I just want to note that Rumor's totally 100% not interested in tracking down a knack. Like, she does not want to get her ass kicked. Like, that's not a fun thing for her. So but she really doesn't want somebody telling her that she's incapable of doing it, or that like they're gonna give it to someone else. So I think it's a defiance thing. Like, I'm gonna do it, and then the back of her head, just
to prove it to you.
No, I don't want this.
I don't want to do
You don't
this,
even
but
know
I'm
me.
going to.
You don't even know me.
Yeah, I love it. So what's the position in effect here?
Position here is risky.
Okay.
I think the only risk here is that you might lose a little bit of standing just because you're so easily dismissed. But I think that you've got standard effect here, like a good, like I was a mercy and now I'm your mercy. You know, I think that gets you standard effect here.
Yeah, I'd like to make an argument for great effect. I have an equipment item called Fine Wit, which it lasts once per errand, but I didn't use it last errand. I don't think it refreshes until I think I still have it available until we start the next errand.
Until the next engagement, yeah.
And I would like to somewhat retroactively say that I'm employing it when Owen is like trying to like figure out our secrets. I think I'm very good at dodging them and basically positioning it that like we're the only ones who can figure this out. We have the connections. We know Lady Lavelle. Can you go to House Lavelle and just get information? No, I don't think you can. Like, we were the ones who fought the monster, and I'm just very coy about not giving away how we found out the information we did. So it's really like it's on like we're clearly the only ones who can do it. So I'd like to use that fine wit to improve our position here, if that seems reasonable to you. Or granted, it seems like position makes more sense than granting a die, but like I'd like to employ it in some way.
So, Mistress Gray, I am more than willing to give you greater effect with Core's fine wit on your side. Like the cutting jibes and the quick asides are definitely going to give you better effect.
Cool, because I was looking at terrifying and I was like, I don't think I want to go up against Owen with terrifying. They seem like they would terrify me right back. So I'm glad we have that. And then a bonus die because of Blair.
Yep, Blair is there helping.
And if you want even more, you could push yourself.
Oh yeah, can I push?
Absolutely.
Oh, actually, I can take stress. No, I'll take the stress, so you get an extra die.
Awesome.
Yeah, and the way that's gonna look is, I'm going to. I think to bring up the stress, I will remind Master Owen. I would have you remember what happened on the night of the last blood moon. I think I have proven myself to you plenty. And there's like a flashback. Yeah, like all we hear is like blood, and all we hear is screams, and we see blood, and then it just cuts back. So.
Oh my God.
I take the stress, and you get an extra die.
So the unflappable facade of Master Owen, like, remains, but there's like a clear indication that they are now looking 3 inches above your head. Nice. And it's like they're considering for just a second, and they snap back down. Quite.
I love it when it's so clear what causes the stress when you assist somebody. I love it when it's like, oh yeah, that's why it is stressful to me. It's because I'm remembering this terrible time or what.
I love that.
Okay.
5.
So with a 5 here, this is a partial success. which means that I think we're going to give you the standard effect, which is Owen like snapping their gaze in your direction. The mercies are well known to me. I know the way in which you conduct your affairs. I know the way in which things spiral out of control. I know that you work best on a short lead. I give you 48 hours. After that, I'll have my run. After that, anything that happens is on you.
Yeah, I think Lenore lets him finish and then says, I will only need 24. Good day.
Sick.
We're gonna end that scene right there. You guys need a break? You ready for a break?
Let's
Sure.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
That's great. Oh my God, 24.
I love
No
it.
pressure.
No pressure. All right, friends.
5.
Let's. We'll be back in a few minutes. See y'all soon.